Got your video ready?
Oh, hell.
LLC is proud to present the Ukrainian Adventure Vacation. This package features an all-inclusive stay in a mostly radiation-free, bombed-out, rustic, turn-of-the-century hostel. Your package includes sparkling bottled water and authentic survivalist-style ready-to-eat meals that are sure to get you in the spirit of this adventure. Each room comes equipped with
misadventure
AR-15 weapons of war and a case of ammo.
Weapons of war. All right.
Oh my gosh, it's Friday.
Nick kicked my ass yesterday.
Who?
Nick.
Oh, the PT guy?
My boyfriend, Nick.
Yeah.
And don't judge. You should be a little concerned, actually.
Why I got to be concerned?
One day I may not come home, and I'll just be at Nick's.
Yeah.
And then you'll know what you're missing, mister.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's not Deborah Messing you'd be missing, because then you'd be missing messing.
Yeah.
Don't you start with me.
Discounts for you as a Mojo listener. Be prepared to protect and feed your family in the event of an emergency. Preparewithmojo50.com.
Radio as the founders intended. Mojo 50.
Ouch.
The mothership has landed.
13th. I'd almost forgotten about that. Today is Friday the 13th. I'm good with it.
Are you?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird day because we're going to... I can't believe we're going to do this. We're going to actually defend Joe Biden.
Man, I know you said that before the show, and I'm just not sure
Yeah, we've
about
got
that,
to. We have to. We have to defend Joe Biden, which is, again, why one of the reasons the program episode title is The Era of Unbelievability. So we're going to defend Joe Biden. We're also going to have, and this is sad too, Lisa Marie, 54.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here, folks. Let's see here. We've also new information on the jab, and when you remember Dana White, the
MMA, is it? Oh no,
yeah,
is it MMA?
UFC.
UFC. Okay.
UFC. Remember, he got in a big to-do over slapping his wife.
Yeah.
I think they were in Mexico drinking tequila, and she slapped him. He slapped
up
her
on the balcony. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And she's even come out and said, oh, it's, we're good. Been married 30 years. Maybe it's their kink. Who knows? Whatever. But man, everybody's still all up in his stuff over the whole slap. But wait until you hear about his new show. I'm starting to think everything is staged. If you want to get in touch with the program today, what I learned today is the hashtag you need to use. Let's see. Do you want to start with Joe Biden? Because why not? All right. So this just, I don't even know how they found more documents. They found more. Is this the second or third?
See, I don't know. That's the question
found?
that you asked me earlier was it 2 or was it 3? I think it's still only 2.
All right. Well, so we knew about the ones in the office. I thought that was at the University of Pennsylvania. Maybe it's the office in Washington of the University of Pennsylvania, where he had them in a locked closet. It was a locked closet.
It was a locked closet.
The locked closet. What's the big whoop? It was locked. And the difference is at least he turned them in, right? So here is Peter Doocy.
God.
And I'm telling you, it's like, wow. Peter Doocy has balls as big as coconuts, and good for him. I would look at them lovingly. He comes out at this is a news conference. This may have been in Mexico City or it's in Washington. Doesn't really matter. Here are Peter Doocy and the President of the United States.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking? Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
Yeah.
But at any rate, yes, as well as my Corvette.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
Try to follow him.
I also said we're cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review. As part of that process, my lawyers reviewed other places where documents in my, from my time as vice president were stored, and they finished the review last night. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn Center. The Department of Justice was immediately, as was done, the Department of Justice was immediately notified, and the lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the document. So we're going to see all this unfold. I'm confident. Thank you very much.
All right, so you notice that there at the end, he stutters when he gets nervous.
Yeah.
He stutters when he gets nervous, and he should be nervous.
That's because they were firing questions at him. He went,
And he read, that entire statement, not well, but he attempted to read it. And I actually am I'm not feeling, let's be honest with each other. I'm not feeling bad for him, but here's why I think we need to defend him.
His own people are going after him.
He is being set up big time. I'm sorry. There's just no two ways around it.
It's the transparency to me was when I read that first at CNN.
Yes.
CNN broadcast it first. And I'm thinking, why would they put that out?
He is so being set up. This is, and some of the background information on this. Remember the whole Trump situation? Vastly different, even though we're being told that there's, that the difference is that the president currently is, he's cooperating. He turned in the documents immediately. Even his own lawyers contacted the Justice Department immediately. He wasn't trying to obfuscate any of his doings. He was fully cooperating.
Did you see the stunt brain Trump meme this morning?
I have not. Do you have it?
Let me see if I can find it.
Good for you.
Sorry. It's a Trump. Basically, it's Trump, and he's holding, you know how the memes are made where he's holding up that binder, and it's got two blank pages on it.
Yep.
The first page says, presidents can unclassify documents. Vice presidents can't unclassify documents. That's
true.
It's a valid point.
And you're absolutely right. That is a valid point. Trump could do what he wanted to do because he had the authority to declassify anything.
Yes.
There's a piece in ABC News titled, this is back in October, on Trump's last day in office, why were sensitive documents allegedly in such disarray? At the end of Donald Trump's presidency, his team returned a large batch of classified FBI documents and other government records to the Justice Department in such disarray that a year later, in a letter to lawmakers, the department said it still couldn't tell which of the documents were the classified ones. Had no idea. The former president is just, such a shifty character, was such a disaster in office. Even the Justice Department doesn't even know which of the documents are classified. The documents came from the FBI's controversial probe in 2016 looking at alleged links between Russia and Trump's presidential campaign, which we now know was a bunch of horse crap. Trump tried to make the documents public the night before he left office, issuing a declassification memo and secretly meeting with conservative writer John Solomon, who was allowed to review the documents. Solomon told ABC News this past week, but for reasons that are still not clear, and to the great frustration of Trump and his political allies, none of the documents were ever officially released. Justice Department said Thursday it's still working to determine which documents can be disclosed. That's how they describe Trump's. last days in office and his whole document fiasco, let's say. On the other hand, here they are defending Joe Biden at CNN. Biden's whirlwind final days as vice president had aides scrambling to close his White House office. The early days of 2017 were a whirlwind for Vice President Joe Biden, swearing in a new Congress, a surprise Medal of Freedom, a speech at Davos, and one final trip to Ukraine. Partly to wrap up his policy portfolios, but partly to tout his accomplishments, and partly to occupy himself following the death of his son a year earlier, Biden thrust himself into work in a final sprint to mark what then appeared to be the end of a 4-decade run at the highest levels of government. He was keeping busy, however. His office was shutting down. Aides scrambled to pack up his workspaces in the West Wing, the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, and at his official residence, the Naval Observatory. Those competing objectives to use his office until the final minutes, even as it was obliged to shut down, made for a muddled and hurried process that left aides packing boxes of documents and papers late into the night, even as more material kept arriving. You see where they're going with this? CNN. They're defending, well, this is how, I mean, come on. It was his aides. They stuck stuff in boxes. It was crazy time over there. They didn't know. They were stuffing stuff in boxes, and that's how all of this stuff got into the various locations around either Washington or Pennsylvania, wherever the hell the first ones were, and Delaware at the current president's residence. You know, in his garage, his locked garage next to his Corvette, which is also locked. The folks on The View are suggesting that the documents were planted by Republicans.
Joy Behar is a bitch. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
I think that there are several people who would probably agree with you. This was the conversation over at The View, and I'm actually going to maybe agree with Whoopi here.
You know what I think? I've never seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him, but somehow these documents appear.
But here's the thing: Biden is wrong to have done this. He was in office for 40 years.
Let's find out what this is first. Now, again, one of the things that gets me crazy is before we know, it's already been spun a specific way.
She's not wrong.
She is not wrong.
Except I don't think she has this viewpoint all the time. When it involved Trump, and I can't give you any specific instances, and maybe I'm wrong, it was, well, it's obvious what he did. But with Biden, you know, let's find out what it is first.
It's not completely obvious. Let's figure it out first, yeah.
Right, exactly. Let's figure out who planted these.
I don't want to see that. I want to see someone explain to me, A, how it's possible that after all this time, nobody knew this. Because to me, if you're missing classified information, I don't mean to laugh, but in my house, if stuff is missing, I know it's missing.
Does it feel like Oppo research?
Another great point.
Yep.
Why all of a sudden, after 6 years, does this stuff surface? We have our theories.
Search to you, does it feel like the Republicans are behind it?
It did originally, but I'm sorry, but not now, because one of the things he's saying is that, you know, some of the locations where the docs may have been shipped in the transition may have gotten taken and put, but still.
They may have been taken and put. But she actually disagreed with, you know, the Republicans planting the stuff. I don't know who planted them. I don't know if the the current president took them
the reason
himself.
This country is in the state it's in. One of the reasons is Joey Behar. Period.
Really?
Oh, come on, dude. You know how many people sit at home and watch this freaking show?
I know they're all women.
Okay. And they're all sitting at home and they ain't got nothing to do but get on their phone during the day and go, oh, my God.
Some homosexual men.
Joey Behar says that the Republicans planted it. Let me get on Twitter right now and blast the Republicans for it. Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Is she living in your head rent free?
Only this morning.
I never think about Joy. I never think about that woman.
Well,
Ever.
she's. I mean, look. Maxine Waters, Joy Behar. They're right here.
I know.
Dude.
I got you. I feel you. There are people who do that to me.
Joy reads
KJP
the same
does
damn
it to
way.
me. Yeah, that's true. But in this case, I think that Tucker has essentially confirmed what we've been thinking here for a while, and that Rush nailed before he died.
But it's not a happy day at Casa Biden. In fact, this is pretty clearly the beginning of the end for Joe Biden. We can't prove that. The future is unknowable. But holy smokes, it does not look good. And it doesn't look good in a very recognizable way. Somewhere in his basement rec room, drinking a Courvoisier on ice, Andrew Cuomo is chuckling to himself. He's seen this movie before. Joe Biden's own aides keep finding stacks of felonies he's left around the place, in his office, in his car.
Right.
And instead of throwing this evidence in the fireplace, as under normal circumstances they would, they're sending these documents on to the Justice Department.
Okay, great point right there. Why in the hell are his own people turning this stuff in?
To make it look like Trump was a jackass for not turning it in.
Really? You think that they thought that?
Oh,
you
yeah,
think that
dude.
do you
This
think
is
that they
their
thought,
out,
oh,
Brad.
here's what we'll do.
No, this is their out. They think this is their out. They think that, oh, we found it, we immediately did something about it. Where Trump knew he had it, the DOJ went down there to get it. He didn't give it all to him. He was hiding it. He was, no, this is their, and it's like I said yesterday, just because if you go to the cops immediately after you stab somebody, that doesn't mean they're not going to arrest you, dumbass.
I think
you still broke the freaking law. Thanks for turning yourself in.
If they had thrown all of these files into the fireplace, as Tucker just said, no one would ever know.
No one would ever know. I get that. No one would ever know.
No one would ever know. And there are distinct differences, but again, between what the president can take home and what the vice president can take home. The VP can't take stuff home, classified documents.
And
because he doesn't even, as you said, he doesn't have the power to declassify. The president can. These are declassified. Boom.
Was it Mayorkas that put the special investigator on?
Garland. Merrick Garland.
Merrick Garland.
Yes.
Did he or did he not choose a Trump-appointed attorney to do this?
He chose a Republican to start this investigation. And we'll tell you who he is in just a moment. First, however, remember that if you have not gone to My Patriot Supply, which is preparewithmojo50.com. So I was looking up the kit over here that I told you about earlier in the week. Go to preparewithmojo50.com
and then search
your
for the
emergency
kit.
food supply.
Yeah,
and search for the kit. I think we, I did tweet out a direct link to it. So you can get it. But if you go to preparewithmojo50.com, obviously we get a tiny percentage of the sale, and it helps keep things going around here. So we would appreciate it if you'd start there. And then look for you can just search for the preparedness crate for emergencies. It's under the blowout sale if you want to kind of take a shortcut. But this is really cool. It's like $124 marked down from almost $200, and all kinds of cool stuff in it. It's like a self-contained kit that you can just have waiting by the door in case they come a knocking.
In your go bag.
Yep, in your go bag next to the cash, the trip,
and in my wife's case,
passports.
all her jewelry.
Well, you know what? That's smart because you could trade that.
I guess.
I mean, people still want to be pretty in the apocalypse.
I'm going to tell you, if there's a tornado warning coming, and the sirens outside go off, I know where my wife's going to be, standing at her jewelry box, loading stuff into a plastic bag.
Smart woman.
She did the same thing. She grabbed all of that when the house caught fire too. She was in there throwing stuff in a plastic bag.
She learned her lesson. Not stupid at all. Just have all the stuff you want to get out with you when when either a storm or the feds are knocking at your door. Have it all in one convenient place in your go bag and just get the hell out of Dodge. And again, you can find this over at preparewithmojo50.com. That is at your hard sell for this morning. Again, it keeps us in light. Because without the money from all of that stuff, we'd end up looking like this.
Like this, yeah, in the dark.
Although I did get surprisingly better looking.
Yeah, you did, actually.
I did. I have, a little dim light.
I'm surprised my background. I'm surprised my background stays there when I turn off all my lights.
See? The wonders of modern broadcasting.
Yeah.
The Daily Mojo.
All right, for those wanting to get touched by the program, the hashtag What I Learned Today, oblivion flickering onto Twitter is the Republican want to run against Joe Biden because he can't possibly win re-election. Maybe CNN is part of the conspiracy to frame Biden, but are just pretending to defend him because that is what we would expect. It's weird. It's weird that CNN is coming out and reporting all of this. And on the other hand, they're also saying, well, this is probably, his aides. They were scurrying around. Shy Boy in Iowa sounds like Real One Phillips needs to watch more Maury and Jerry Springer to help balance his Behar anger issues because they all focus on the same audience. That's true. Is Jerry Springer still doing a show?
I do not know. I don't either. Yeah. I know Maury.
Laird Leprechaun, Behar began. We all know that Trump is a liar and a thief, so, we know that. So it's not a big jump to say he obstructed and he lied. We don't think Biden is a liar and a thief. We give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Although there are far more examples of Joe Biden being a liar and a thief. I think that's safe to say. Isn't it? I mean, and hashtag believe women.
Yeah.
Tara Reid. Prediction. We're going to see the mainstream media picking up on the Tara Reid thing again. Friday the 13th. Brad said it. You see. All right, here, Tucker continues here his explanation of what's really going on behind the scenes, and I think he nails it.
That's not a good sign. Meanwhile, Biden's attorney general, the most unscrupulous, unethical attorney general this country has ever had, has somehow decided that actually, in order to maintain his unsullied record of nonpartisanship, he's going to have to pass these documents, these stacks of felonies, onto an independent counsel because that always works out well for a sitting president. And by the way, in this case, the independent counsel is a Republican. Good luck, Joe Biden. Happy 80th birthday. Here's Merrick Garland.
On the evening of November 4th, 2022, the National Archives Office of Inspector General contacted a prosecutor at the Department of Justice. It informed him that the White House had notified the archives that documents bearing classification markings were identified at the office of the Penn Biden Center on November 14th, pursuant to Section 600.2b of the Special Counsel Regulations. I assigned U.S. Attorney Lausch to conduct an initial investigation on December 20th.
Okay, and listen to these dates. Because remember, we're at what, January 13th now. Let me back this up just a smidge. Listen to the dates and when they found this stuff.
November 14th, pursuant to Section 600.2b of the Special Counsel Regulations, I assigned U.S. Attorney Lausch to conduct an initial investigation. On December 20th, President Biden's personal counsel informed Mr. Lausch that additional documents bearing classification markings were identified in the garage of the president's private residence.
Okay.
What the hell?
I know they did.
I thought all this was just. I thought all this just came out. I knew.
Me too.
Well, I think I knew that they had found the stuff at the Penn Biden Library or the Biden Penn Library or whatever it's called
before the election.
Yeah, but I thought they just found the second set.
I know. Me too. That's what they've made it sound like. But they've known about this for almost.
Can you imagine the meetings that went on at the White House?
This is the. I agree with Tucker. This is the beginning of the end for the Biden crime family. And remember this: that the Secret Service not only hasn't kept they have said that they haven't kept a list of visitors at the Delaware home of Joe Biden, where he has spent a quarter of his days as president. And they're not ever going to let us know who the visitors there to the house were because that's private. And that's where the other classified documents were found? Huh. What do you want to bet a list of people who did visit the Delaware home comes out soon? Not looking good, but I think we all know why we need to defend Biden. We'll talk about it coming up on your Daily Mojo.
Happily promoting the 4Fs.
Clear.
I think you're going to see all of these things, that this was a plan.
Me and my roommate watch lots of medical shows. We're always looking at each other going, did they really go back in those rooms? You know, they got those rooms where they can take a break and take a little nap or whatever, and go back there and have sex. I just find it hard to believe that in reality,
wow,
that kind of stuff happens. So,
I'm sure they get it wherever they can find it.
It's just weird.
Classified documents won't harm Biden at all. We're in the 6-month post-election slow walk of wrongdoings. Okay.
It's original. It's bold. It's patriotic. It's American. It's American pride.
Wouldn't Joe's home be riddled with cameras?
American Pride Roasters coffee.
You would think so.
Historically, great coffee.
AmericanPrideRoasters.com.
My video's not caught up over here. Why is it making me sit through a damn pre-roll on Rumble? I didn't know who I think I am.
After a long, hard night, I am exhausted. I need something
A long.
to stimulate me. That's why I start each day.
We'd like to extend to you a laurel
chocolate
and hearty handshake
me off to
to
work.
our new
Find the flavor that
sheriff.
stimulates you and gets you off to work at American Pride Roasters.
No way. Is it really?
The Daily Mojo.
Seriously, it's Judge Jerry Springer right now? He's a judge?
What?
According to Jerome over in the Facebook chat room, he's a judge.
Huh.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Wasn't he mayor? Well, he was mayor of a town before, right?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Can't really throw rocks because at the same time, it's when I moved to Nashville in the late 80s, early 90s. Our Nashville mayor, his name was Bill Boner, and he had this new girlfriend. What the hell was her name? And I think they even went on. It was Jerry Springer, one of those programs, talking about how well they were doing the nasty, and boy, our mayor could do it all night long. So proud, Bill Boner. Yeah. So it's possible that he is actually
it says,
a judge.
Yes, Springer is at least technically a real judge, although he can't oversee criminal cases and send people to prison. At the age of 75, his honor oversaw small claims court cases involving real-life plaintiffs and defendants that genuinely intended on having their cases. So it's something probably like Judge Judy. He was probably building a show, something like that.
TV gig.
Yeah.
In the next hour of the program, we're going to be talking with Jen Jacobson. She's the owner of Beloved Cheesecakes out in Oregon. And she was affected by the lockdowns, and she's gone on to do something about it. And I think she is the illustration of a great template for what people can do if you want to affect change, because it ain't going to change itself. We're all going to have to do something about it. Zippy the Monk says, how does everyone fall for this every single cycle? The classified documents won't harm Biden at all. We're in the 6-month post-election slow walk of wrongdoings, setting up the next 18 months of pre-election. That's old news. Move on excuses. All right. I think things have been traditionally, that probably is what the cycle that we're all used to. But I think things have changed. I think the rules have changed. I think that post-Trump, I think we're looking at an entirely new set of rules. And I also think that they're not going to be afraid to eat their own on this one. Young minds, fresh ideas. Remember, there are new sheriffs in town. The sheriff is near. This was over on Dan Crenshaw's Instagram page. I'm not very happy with Dan Crenshaw, but this is funny. And I didn't have time to source it out. And since Ron sent it to me, it's bad lip reading. So if you're listening to the podcast, I guarantee it's funny.
I got plenty guacamole in the business office. Now I'm starving. Vain guy.
You should see my car.
Stank suit.
Check out my frown. It's a jumbled code.
Marvelous. The bee's unwashed knees.
Nah, it's just bee's knees. And can you mention that we changed it?
You just did. Chevy dude.
Penguins.
Good point. Sad euphoria. I'm not lonely. Sounds convincing. Latoul.
Jeez.
Don't care for Latoul. Pink ghosting. I got plenty guacamole in the business office.
And there you go. Another great example. Bad lip reading does the best videos.
They are brilliant. Brilliant.
They really are. They are brilliant. All right. So why do we need to defend Joe Biden? Because in this case, our next in line, do we really want her in the White House? I mean, doesn't it behoove us to rally behind the current, at least, what do they say, better the devil you know than the one you don't?
Well,
and make no doubt.
Think about it this way, and I'm not even sure this is a good idea either, but if the president and the VP get taken out for whatever reason, you know who's next, right?
Well, at least now it's Kevin McCarthy.
Not that that's a good thing either. I'm just saying.
Right. But, I mean, it's... This to me, and again, I think thinking the rules have changed, I really do think that this is a coup from within. Biden has, and the Democrats have known that this guy is a tool from the word go. There was a deal made in the during the primaries. Remember when he disappeared for a couple of days? I think it was before New Hampshire, after Iowa, before New Hampshire. He disappeared. He was off the radar for several days, and then he suddenly reappeared, and he was all confident that, boy, he was going to win. Was it North or South Carolina? And then, he went on to take it. So I think that there's a quid pro quo in place, and I think they figure they've paid their debt, and now it's time. It's that sad time when the person who's traded their soul to the devil for, a few more years of life. It's that point where you get to it that at the end of those few more years when you're like, damn it. But there's got to be a deal. There has to be a deal. And poor Joe, there ain't no deal because he's become a political liability. There's just no other explanation for these documents.
Think politicians are skanks as it is.
Yes.
This guy has been in politics for 50 freaking years.
Yep.
You can't tell me there's not some skankiness going on.
And a lot of it's been on full display. The Hunter Biden laptop.
Yep.
I mean, come on. The fact that he spent all of his time on his days off, his vacation, with the exception of the St. Croix vacation, he goes to his house in Delaware, and no one's allowed to ask who's there because it's private time. It's private time for the president and his daughter. Who was it that tweeted out another set of classified documents has been found in Ashley Biden's shower? I mean, we've seen all. I know, right? We've seen all of the bad behavior on full display. It's not like they've hidden it. And what? Let me see if I don't. It's the you get tired of doing the what about Trump thing, but what truly bad behavior did we see on full display from Donald Trump? I mean, he was mean to some people, but it was truthful when he called, Rosie O'Donnell, what, a horse? Whatever he called her, fat pig.
I thought it was something with a pig.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't insult horses. That's Sarah Jessica Hardbody. It's, a fat pig, I think. And the difference is, I think, and Kira Davis said this at one point, politics has always been dirty. It's not like it's been squeaky clean and suddenly here we are.
Yeah.
And wow, Trump sure turned everything. All he did was pull the curtain back and not act one way behind closed doors and another way in front of the camera. I think what you saw was what you got with him. I think it was the same behind the scenes. And
it's a special kind of person, Brad. It really is. It's a special kind of person. Think about this. Attorneys. Let me give you an example. Attorneys. It'll be the biggest mystery of my life how attorneys can beat the shit out of each other in the courtroom and then walk out the door and go have a drink together.
Yep.
That is the biggest mystery to me in the world. But politicians are exactly the same. I've been watching C-SPAN.
Most of them are attorneys.
Watched them do all the bickering back and forth, during the vote for McCarthy and then afterwards. Yeah. How in the hell? Is it all just a big show? I mean, what do you say it is that when somebody wins their court case, it's all because of what?
Oh, yeah. Court isn't about the truth. It's about who tells the better story, who puts on the better performance.
Who puts watch them. Just watch them on the House floor. Watch them in the Senate.
Don't ever think going to court that by telling the truth, you're going to win. Don't ever think you got the truth on your side, because it's not about the truth. It's not about justice. It's about whoever tells the better story.
Whoever can weave the wildest,
right,
most believable thing. And don't get me wrong, Republicans and Democrats are both, they both do it.
They both got mud on their stuff. But this is, with Trump, again, he was who he was, still is the same way.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to tell it like it is, even if it offends people.
Yeah.
Even if it offends people. And which reminds me, I've got another clip from Doc Thompson back in his WTVN days. And his wonder, you know what? I'm just going to play that right now because it's his wonderful sense of being able to tell somebody where to get off. People would call, well, I'll play the clip and stop trying to explain it. This is Doc Thompson, Doc and Brian from is it TVN or TFN? 610. Anyway, here it is.
We applaud each other for being honest about it. Well, that's a bunch of crap as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, they're talking about the death penalty. Let me back it up just a smidge.
Why do we want to pander to what's the worst in us? Why do people, you can't make it illegal for a show like Temptation Island to exist. We're talking about showing an execution, I understand that. But the principle being, even if they were to agree that that's an okay thing to do, why would we? Why would we pander to what's the worst and the lowest and the most decrepit in our nature? That's not to say that, oh, sure, if it was on, I wouldn't watch it. And we applaud each other for being honest about it. Well, that's a bunch of crap as far as I'm concerned.
Mark, I got to tell you.
Somebody ought to have the decency and the wherewithal to just not do these things, to not show these things.
Mark, I got to tell you, I'm offended by that. I'm offended by your statement that you're just offended by the way people term it, the words they're used, their verbiage, their language. That has nothing to do with the issue.
What do you mean?
If we clean it up and we go, this is a solemn issue and the gentleman is now being executed, then it's okay?
I don't think it's funny. That's all I'm saying. I didn't mean to imply your comments were whatever. I'm just saying when I hear...
Here's the point, though. It's called satire.
Per se. I'm just talking about people who say, let's get old Sparky out and flip the switch. I just don't think that's funny. I know people are trying to be cute. I don't think the death penalty is cute. I'm for it, but I do think it's a serious thing, and it really isn't something that ought to be joked about. Do you really think it should be?
Yeah, I really do, because I think just about everything should be joked about. And second of all, if I'm saying Old Sparky and someone goes, my, that was insensitive, maybe it'll make them stop to think. You know, I mean, you're talking about, you put it on TV so people go, hey, maybe I shouldn't commit this crime. Well, you know what? People bringing it out and putting it out there for what it is. They're killing somebody. Somebody's being killed. They're frying them.
Too desensitized to death anyway. I mean, in terms of, like, you know, the abortion laws, I'm not for changing any of that. But in television and movies, we are desensitized towards death. Why would we want to further that by making fun of, poking fun at, or joking about the death penalty? Don't you think we ought to take death a little bit more seriously than we do anyway?
We probably should. Mark, thank you very much for the call.
All right, so Doc was always able to take something and really lay it out for what it was.
Find the humor. No joke.
Find the humor in it.
That's what solidified it for me, that we started joking about his death after he passed.
Right.
Because Doc would have said, you guys are such a bunch of putzes. Come on. It was funny, right? It was funny.
Yep. And that's what Trump.
It was ironically funny, but it was funny.
It was, yes, that's true. And the fact that it was Amtrak.
Yep.
But, you know, that's what Trump does. He takes everything out. He lays it out. He fillets it open, you know, and well, it's mean. Is it?
Is it mean?
Is it mean?
It's just the way you feel.
Is it offensive?
Yeah.
Are you offended when he says Rosie O'Donnell's a fat pig?
No. Why would I be offended by that?
I don't know.
Rosie O'Donnell was offended. Her fans were offended, but why would I be offended? I mean, but
exactly. I've got letters.
He doesn't cater to Rosie O'Donnell's fans.
No, he doesn't. I've got a fan letter that I'll read in a bit. I may have read it before, but it should offend me, but it doesn't. And if you think Rosie O'Donnell was offended by Trump calling her a fat pig, please.
You and I get offended by our fans multiple times a day, so it doesn't bother me anymore.
It doesn't, not even a little bit.
You can't be in radio and have any of that offend you. Yeah.
I used to give a crap. I don't anymore.
You just have to find the humor in it. You know,
I'm a fat old pink beige guy.
The dude sitting at home smoking dope. I don't know what.
I'm just a dude sitting at home smoking dope. Dave's not here, man. Shy Boy in Iowa, Real Brad Staggs. Remember, Hillary had her own private server at her home. Biden has to have more than that in his basement. He probably has pictures of Kamala with a ball gag. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Michael Berry? Something yesterday. It was just so off the cuff. Something about they're going down more than Kamala Harris. It was just so off the cuff. It was like, wow, that was good. Let's see here. But James, after he gets tired of being a judge for real, wait till Springer starts up his TV show Court. Just said what I typed. Is James drinking again?
Yeah.
Shh. Don't anybody talk about it right now. However, you can talk about the hat that I'm wearing. It's a night. Why are these called snapbacks? Oh, because it has a snap in the back. I was sorry. That was hey. I was having a blonde moment there. Are you offended? Snap. It has a snap in the back. I was thinking of a snap. I was thinking like the bend and snap.
Oh, no. It's a snapback is what they call it.
Snapback, because it has a snap on the back. And you can get your very own Mojo 50 or Daily Mojo trucker cap. Trucker cap, who wants it? Talk to Teddy Bear. Oh, crap. It's Friday, isn't it?
It is.
And it's amazing that these hats are the proud sponsor of Peter Serefine.
Oh, damn it.
What?
No, you okay, never mind.
I remembered.
All right, here we go.
Biden takes classified documents seriously. I'm Peter Serefine with this week's Liberty Minute and a reminder to use code LIGHTHOUSE at mystore.com to save money on American-made products from American companies. President Biden takes classified documents so seriously that he had at least one in his garage. Just for a minute, let's forget that a former vice president shouldn't have classified materials. Let's ignore the hypocrisy of Biden's statements regarding Trump having classified materials at Mar-a-Lago, where there are Secret Service. What I want to know is, Why were attorneys clearing out an office at the UPenn think tank? Lawyers cost hundreds of dollars an hour. 2 guys and a truck would have been infinitely cheaper. Were the lawyers there because they expected to find something like this? Maybe the attorneys were there just so that there would be attorney-client privilege in place. The presence of lawyers doing a job that a couple of teenagers could do is intriguing, to say the least. Now that the story is out, I have many questions, but the White House press secretary has refused to answer a single one put to her. Hopefully, the new special counsel will have better luck. Find more news and commentary at liberty-lighthouse.com. Until next time, si vis pacem, parabellum.
Mojo.
I see your pecan pie over in the Rebel chat room. Thank you for searching and welcome to the Doc Fan Club. Thanking me? Stephanie J17. I don't know. Better.
Weren't you like a founding member of the Doc Fan Club?
I may have been. Yeah, I had a crush on his voice long before I knew him. And I had some of the stuff I was digitizing. And there's just boxes. If you can see behind me, there's boxes. I mean, hundreds of these tapes. But he and Brian, at the time his broadcast partner, were hosting The Weekend, which I loved. The Weekend show. I think that was on the iHeart stations. You remember The Weekend? This is The Weekend.
No.
Mike McConnell used to host it a lot. But Doc and Brian hosted it, and I thought in digitizing these, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this. Just it's fascinating to go back and listen to those tapes from all those years ago. Let's see here. Better News, Pecan Pie, Better News 8. Go to Mojo 50 website. Read about him and the dream. Oh, they're educating somebody over on in the Rumble chat room, which is, you know what? We appreciate that, by the way, because we don't have what would be considered an advertising budget. So we do, in fact, count on you, the fine, upstanding, intelligent, good-looking, prestigious, well-dressed, is that enough? People who listen to this program, and we depend on you to tell just a couple of other people, if you wouldn't mind. Maybe we'll be able to grow. Maybe we'll get this thing bigger. If you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for telling a friend about the Daily Mojo, and also for buying the innuendo bell at mojo50.com. The piece of fan mail that I got, that I kept this, I got it back in June of 2015. The funny thing, it was addressed to me at the other place, and it was typed.
Is this the one where they told you weren't worth a damn?
Oh, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it in a second. I just think it's funny that it's on they obviously typed it on a piece of paper and then cut everything off that they. Anyway, it says, you must have been such a great contractor. That's why you're now selling trash effing products for Beck. You're a loser, so he gave you a simple job that you can do with no brain power.
Okay. It's it's the person who takes the time to go, you know what? I don't like that, Brad Staggs. Let me type out this dumbass letter. Let me spend money on a stamp and put it in the mail.
And he did. And it was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, my God. I hope that sumbitch is listening right now, because you are
from his mom's basement.
Real winner. I'm just going to go out there.
From his mom's basement. But I keep that. Should I be offended that that's what he said?
No. Hang that shit on the wall.
I should be offended if I went by the rules of today, but I'm not offended. I mean, give me a break. There's so much to be offended about in this world. That's the least of my worries. We told you yesterday that USC was not using the term field anymore, because, and not like playing field, but like we have scientists out in the field working, investigating, whatever. Now they want to use instead, because that might be offensive to either the illegals or to the former slaves. who had to work out in the field. Because if you hear the word field, yeah. So now they want to use the word practicum.
Practicum, yeah.
So do you say that we have scientists out in the practicum? That is the dumbest effing thing I've ever heard.
I still say field because I could.
Yes,
yeah,
it's because
I couldn't care less. That's how you say it. I couldn't care less what
San
they want me to
Francisco
say.
Is going to not release most mugshots. Notice they said most. Because why? Why?
Oh, because it might hurt somebody's feelings.
It's racist. San Francisco police tweeted this out. SFPD Chief Bill Scott ends the release of most booking photos. New reform aims to reduce bias and affirm procedural justice. Because if they're black or brown, that just reinforces the stereotype that, in fact, blacks and or browns commit all of the crime. I mean, that's how stupid all this is. That's how absolutely dumb these people think we are. And to be honest, they probably get, there is a large majority that do believe or that are stupid enough to buy into this stuff. Stupid is what they're trying to call Brian Kohberger, the suspect in the Idaho slayings. Remember, we've been talking about all of the dumb things that, if you're going to murder somebody in a home and you are a criminology student, possible PhD, I guess, been called brilliant by some of your former professors, and yet as you are casing the joint, for lack of a better term, you leave your phone on. I think most of us realize that if your phone, and we all carry it with us. I don't even know if I have location services turned off. I probably don't.
But that doesn't matter. I've been watching.
Right,
I've been watching Pine Gap. Hell, you can turn your phone off and they can still access the SIM. So
that's a great show.
I hadn't seen it before.
So if you're going to do this, if you're going to commit these grisly murders, and I'm not saying he did or didn't, I'm just fascinated by the fact we're getting tons of information. We're seeing his every move. We're seeing his court appearances. We're listening to him talk. And how much of that did we get with Andrew DePepe? That we still haven't heard him say a word.
Right.
Have we?
No.
Nope. Zipping that one up tight. But
He's
this
under
one,
some jail somewhere.
Open book this guy is. So he cases the joint, I guess they said like 12 times. But if you're going to do that, don't you buy a burner phone? Again, these are the rookie mistakes. They said that, and this is according to Pete Yachmetz. He's a former FBI agent, spent 30 years as an investigator before starting his own security firm. He's suggests that the cell phone records rookie mistake, which, yes. Why would you, again, most of us know that if you're going to do some underhanded stuff, evil stuff, you don't use your own phone. The months before the killings, he failed to turn his cell phone off while stalking the victim's King Road home. As a result, data from Kohberger's mobile records suggest he visited the area at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. He may have been absolutely stupid. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening, early morning hours of their respective days. He was obviously surveilling the victims, according to Yachmetz. Another amateur mistake. Despite his meticulous planning, Kohberger's arrest records claim he left an essential piece of evidence, the unidentified murder weapon's tan leather knife sheath, at the scene where police discovered it near the body of Madison Mogen. And again, I can't, these families of these kids, just, I can't imagine the pain. It's one thing if your kid is killed in an automobile accident.
Yeah.
Or even if they, God forbid, they commit suicide. That's horrible too. But to know that somebody came in and stabbed them multiple times, as a parent, you replay that in your scene and just, what if I was there? What if I could have? The what ifs. I can't imagine the feeling in these families' heads. But with this guy, and I don't know if he did, I don't know if he didn't. He made an amateur mistake, Yachmet said, who hypothesized that Koberger left the item behind because he had to use a knife sooner than he thought he would need to, or because he was alarmed by the victim's screams. Okay.
The other roommate wasn't.
Again, it's weird. 4 people. 4 people. And I have no idea how long it takes to kill somebody with a knife. But I would imagine it takes some time. And how do you not wake up everybody in the, I think there's just a lot where we're being told a lot, but we're being told a lot that is trying to drive us down this one road. It seems. But that's the mainstream media for you. Next. Oh, wait till you see this. Oh, big.
Nice tease. You're clear.
I have no idea what this is, but oh, I know what I was going to ask you. So on the podcast,
ours?
It's ours. It starts after the news at the top of the hour, right? Like it goes right into
our podcast starts at 4 minutes after, so it's at the beginning of our show. But the top of the second hour is in the podcast.
So the news is in there. So if I went in and snipped the news out of that top of the second hour, and it's at the bottom, out of the bottom of both hours, that would be a good thing, because then, and see, everybody who's listening right now on social media, see, I'm thinking of you, because I don't want to make you sit through that stuff. But then it would also give us the opportunity to slide a couple more spots in there for the podcast platform, which would be
it's all a manual process. But yes, you can do that.
Okay, but so in other words, to do that, I would just have to re-upload the audio file.
Correct.
To Spreaker.
Correct.
After snipping.
And then once you re-uploaded it to Spreaker, you'd have to go in and place the spot markers.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Because again, for you, those of you listening, those of you rude people listening into our private conversation.
We have no privacy, dude.
Want to see some naked pictures?
Always.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Always.
Because then that would be another discreet way. And I hate pre-rolls and stuff. But I like to think that we are compelling enough as show hosts that you'll listen. Well, right now, if you're listening to the podcast, you're digging through 2 minutes of.
That's a fact.
At the bottom. So we'll just make it a little bit different, and it'll help us pay a couple more bills. Trying to work smarter. Just made myself a note. Isn't that exciting? Ron, what do you want to talk about next?
I don't know, but I've gotten confirmation on both your guests, so your fecal touch didn't work today.
Well. There it is.
Stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund.
Big plans for the weekend?
Oh, God, yeah. Heading down to St. Croix.
Are you?
Gonna spend, probably just 2 days down there. You're not using the corporate jet this weekend, are you? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and do that. And by we, I mean all 8 of us.
Yep. Might as well.
Yeah.
It's about $5,000 a gallon, so.
That's really? What's money to us? Seriously? He eventually spent time to back up with Sean Alexander.
I just called and got over 40 pills for only $99. Well, if your friend wants some help, the consultation is free over the phone. No clinic. Steelman pills sends
California tumbled into the sea. You don't want them to. I have people out there I like. I don't want to see California tumble into the sea.
Nope.
Do I?
All right, 10 seconds.
3208. That's 800-485-3208.
High capacity, fully automatic, large caliber, freedom. The Daily Mojo.
Mothership has landed.
And have aided them with military technologies, etc. America first. Indeed. Unfolding Joker also said, good morning, y'all. Is it National Hat Day? It might have been yesterday, National Hat Day. And if you don't have your Mojo 50 hat or your Daily Mojo hat, shame on you. It'll make you sexier if you wear one. If you go to mojolaserpros.com and get a hat, a snapback hat. See, they're called snapback hats because there's a snap in the back. It has nothing to do with, as Ron tried to say earlier, bending and snapping. Some people, they just,
I
right?
don't recall saying that.
And man, Unfolding Joker had a lot of comments. And thank you. We appreciate each and every one of them. Battle for Freedom, our very own Wilson. Please hashtag donate to Mojo50 because without your funds, they will be in the red and not be able to give you sound.
There's a video there. I'm just not sure.
Could he have made it any smaller? Sorry. He might have been able to. I don't know. There's a small, let's see if it plays. It doesn't play, does it? They'll be in the red. See, in there, they won't be able to give you any. I get it.
I got it.
It was a thinking man's gag. All right, so let's see here. We do have Cal coming up here shortly, and then in the second hour, we're going to be talking to Jen Jacobson, owner of Beloved Cheesecakes, out on the West Coast, and we'll see if we can con her into sending us some. This was yesterday. Former Alabama running back Ahmad Galloway found dead at 42. He was working as a teacher at a St. Louis middle school. No idea. The cause of death still being investigated. Let's see who was. Former Major League Baseball outfielder Lee Tinsley died. He was 53. And no, I'm not trying to pin all of these on anything in particular, but I think the question should be asked. But you can't ask the question, can you? Because no. We're going to ask it. I mean, shouldn't it at least be discussed? And are there an inordinate? I mean, we're hearing about this inordinate number of deaths happening around the world.
We are, unexplained. But is it the blue car syndrome? I don't know. I can't. And you can't turn that off, dude. I mean, that's just something that happens. You can't just say, I'm just going to ignore it. I mean, you had this guy, Tinsley, you had Presley. I mean, all of that stuff is just ask the question.
It does make one wonder.
Yeah.
It does make one wonder. This is, and we had Lisa Marie, and we'll get to her in just a second, lead author of peer-reviewed research reanalyzing Pfizer and Moderna trials on mRNA vaccine, Joseph Freeman, calls for suspension of jab due to serious harm. This is what he said, and this was on the Twitters.
Hello, my name is Dr. Joseph Freeman. I'm an emergency physician based in Louisiana. In addition, I am a clinical scientist. I was the lead author of a peer-reviewed study that reanalyzed the original Pfizer and Moderna clinical trials for the messenger RNA COVID-19 vaccines. We found the vaccine increased serious adverse events at a rate of 1 in 800. At the time of publication, My co-authors and I did not believe our single study warranted the withdrawal of the messenger RNA vaccines from the market.
Can you pause that?
However,
I have a question.
Since its publication.
Yes.
I have a question. Why does it look like this guy is sitting in an interrogation room reading something that the terrorists made him read? It just looks like that. I don't know. Something I've seen in a movie, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe the terrorists made him read it.
Okay, you can go back.
I'm just putting it out there.
Multiple new pieces of evidence have come to light, and this has caused me to reevaluate my position. An article published in the BMJ regarding the FDA's own observational surveillance data found the messenger RNAs were associated with multiple of the exact same serious adverse events identified in our original study. But the FDA had failed to inform the public of these findings.
Weird.
In addition, now we have multiple autopsy studies that find essentially conclusive evidence that the vaccines are inducing sudden cardiac deaths, yet the rate of these vaccine-induced deaths remains unknown. While many nations that have been using the messenger RNA vaccines have experienced an increase in excess mortality, more people dying than should be expected from past years. And this correlates in time with the initial vaccine rollout and then with the subsequent booster campaigns. Nations with higher messenger RNA vaccine uptake have correlations with higher rates of excess mortality. While the cause of this excess mortality is not known, researchers analyzing this data were unable to identify any other reasonable cause of the excess death other than the vaccines. Given now that Omicron variant is less virulent and is able to evade much of the protection offered by the vaccines, this creates a situation where the benefits of the vaccine have been dramatically reduced for hospitalization and death. Together, this information calls into question if the vaccine's benefits are outweighing the harm. I believe, given the information, the messenger RNA vaccines need to be withdrawn from the market until new randomized controlled trials can clearly demonstrate the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the serious harm we now know the vaccines are causing.
All right, there you go. That's a doctor. Don't know anything about him. Scientist, ER doctor. That's him saying it, not us. And why, again, can't we ask the question? We have Damar Hamlin. We all saw what happened there. Lisa Marie Presley. And any number of other deaths that they could be caused by anything. But why is it still so verboten to even bring up the fact that it may be caused by the jab? We had Fauci rolled out of retirement again just to say that it was nonsense, utter nonsense. Not possible that it could have been the jab.
Yeah.
I find it ironic, though, Ron, that you did liken the visage of the doctor there to a terrorist sitting, a hostage sitting there at a terrorist table being forced to read something, because this is something we didn't get to tell you yesterday. The Taliban has rolled out a brand new car.
The Taliban has a new car.
The Taliban, let's see, what's the name of the car? The NTOP, ENTOP, the NTOP. Comments that NTOP envisions Mata 9. I'm sorry. It's the NTOP is the company. Mata 9 is the car. And there's even video of it. You'd think this is a joke, but I'm told it's not. This is a video of the car just without the body on it, just the chassis of it, starting. And Syria. Okay, pretty impressive that they can actually get a vehicle to start. If you ask me, remember, it's Afghanistan and the Taliban. They say it's made mostly out of Toyota parts.
Looks like it.
The video on the NTOP's Twitter shows the mechanics of the car. Any car enthusiast would compare it to a kit car, they said. It's the Mazda 9. It was featured at the 2023 Qatar exhibition in Doha. 2023, and the Taliban now has
it looks like they took a Toyota apart.
And here's a shot of the actual car itself. It's kind of Batmobile looking, isn't it?
It's a little sleek.
It's kind of sleek.
But it took it a damn while to start, did it not?
Is that Ahmed on the left or is he on the right?
Wow.
Asking for a friend.
Wow.
And another little tidbit that we didn't get to tell you yesterday, the gas app. And it's not gas like gasoline. It's the gas app. And I downloaded it just to see what the hell it was, but then it started asking me all these questions. Is gas an acronym for something? It's apparently the kids these days are like, if I saw you were kind of down, I think I'm using this correctly. Ron, man, you look like you could use some gassing up. Did I say that?
Oh, you're Gen Z in it. Okay, I got you.
Gen Z, yeah, exactly. You need some gas.
Or are we getting to Gen Alpha, though? We're Gen A in it now?
I can't keep track. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the
Young
Gen
minds,
A'ers
fresh
are
ideas.
getting up there now.
Well, the Gas app allows users to anonymously compliment their friends or secret crushes, and it's young users that are using it. 1 in 3 teens using the app, more than 1 billion compliments have been shared, according to Gas app founder Nikita Bayer.
The only way that app works is if you give them specific phrases they can send, and they can't type anything in, because otherwise it's a bully app. You know what I'm saying?
Because you could, exactly. So you can't type in "you a skank."
Yeah.
You a hoe. You a hoe, Ahmed. Users take a series of polls about their friends with questions ranging from thoughtful to flirty. You sign up, join your high school, and you or you sync your contacts so we can find your friends. I'm always nervous about that one.
Syncing the contacts, yep.
I just, not so much on that. No. They've drawn comparisons to other anonymous apps that are plagued by bullying. She says the distinction with Gas is that we author all the content so that you're answering polls that are generally uplifting and positive, and that's kind of the aim of the product. Sample polls, I'd say yes if blank asked me out on a date, or I think blank is the coolest kid in school. Users select a name to fill in the blanks. People can see the results without knowing who cast the votes. So, like, I would boff blank if they said boff me. Right? I mean,
okay.
Let's be fair.
I've got Cal.
We were who?
Cal.
California?
I've got Cal. Cal's podcast of the week.
Is that a new thing?
Oh, my God.
You didn't tell me about it. I'd boff Cal if Cal asked me to boff him. Is that wrong?
No. Yeah.
It's not?
No. Good luck, Cal. It's you.
Hi, Cal.
Are you saying boff or boss?
Boss.
Boff as in diddle. Wouldn't you diddle me?
Can I respectfully decline?
Thank you.
Would you canoodle me? Would you canoodle me?
Would I diddle you?
Would you canoodle me?
No. Canoodle maybe, but diddle, I don't know.
I thought canoodling was the thing where you did the fishing thing, but apparently that's not. I saw it on some like newscast where they were like oopsies. The guy didn't know what it meant, and apparently canoodling means like, making out and stuff. I didn't know that. So you don't have to.
Canoodling meant like, hug and cuddle.
That might be it. I don't know anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again to bring into your life a man who needs no introduction. But this is Cal and his podcast of the week. Hi, Cal.
Wow, I like that. I like that music. Makes me feel important. Hey guys,
sounds
happy Friday.
Sounds bigger, doesn't it? Yes,
it does. Sounds like it's like a mix of game show and super old school superhero.
That's how we relate. That's how we identify.
That's exactly how I describe myself: game show host / superhero.
Exactly.
I have business cards that say that.
So
that
you do.
Today's podcast of the week is gonna take us down memory lane in a way, with a bit of nostalgia. This is going to be a good one for anybody kind of my age, and I'm in my just past to my 44th birthday, so I guess you could say middle aged. I'm ripe for that midlife crisis. My birthday was the 9th, January 9th.
Did you get the gift that we sent?
Not yet. It must be lost in the mail. You know those Amazon guys.
Damn it, Ron! Did you not send it? I told you to send it.
Cal, it's laying on Brad's desk. I can see it from here.
She's not laying on my desk.
Oh, well then.
I don't know what
I blame you, Brad.
Yeah,
I blame you.
All right.
Yeah.
It's on its
way. So
yeah,
I'm sure it is. And I will enjoy it thoroughly when it gets here. Never. The podcast of the week is a little bit of nostalgia. If you grew up, I guess, like if your adolescence was like 80s, 90s, you're gonna love this. It's a podcast that's hosted by a bunch of guys that talk about the movies that we grew up with. This is back when think of the Blockbuster era. Remember that? When you get super excited, you'd go to the Blockbuster, you walk through the aisles, you check out and you're just so excited. It's almost akin to actually going to the movies. I think it's hard for anybody who didn't grow up in that era to understand the excitement of going to Blockbuster and picking out a movie. So this is from that era. These guys are all.
It was fun. It made the night
feel
awesome. Special.
It absolutely did. And if you go up there and like obviously they had a limited amount of like the new movies, the new releases, and you go up and they'd be all gone. But then you go up to the counter and see if anybody returned one, and if you were lucky enough to grab it, or you'd wait a little bit to see if anybody dropped one in the return box of the movie that you wanted.
Oh my gosh. You're so right.
Anyway,
I remember doing that, watching people like outside the store.
I would stand there waiting for something to come in,
and see, they've got it in their hand. They got it in their hand. I think they were returning it. And they'd like walk down the sidewalk. Oh, no, come back to return it now. And then they put it in there. Hey, he just dropped one in. I want it. Oh my gosh, those are the days. Those were the days.
And they had those giant buckets of popcorn, like microwave popcorn. But anyway, it was like a whole other experience, akin to, I believe, going to the movies. These guys are all from that era. They're that age. The podcast is called the Confused Breakfast Podcast. And it's a nostalgic journey back to the movie rental store era and the amazing movies from our childhood that we all know and love. And these guys dissect. They're pretty long too. The episodes are like over an hour each. But they just dissect and just talk about some of these awesome movies from the 80s and 90s that we all, I don't know if you guys are a little bit, especially Brad, different century and all, but that I grew up on. It's everything from Dumb and Dumber to Mallrats to Elf. Some of them are early 2000s too, like Elf, Kindergarten Cop, Blues Brothers. And it's like,
bonus, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Oh, wait a minute. It's just an 11-minute bonus.
I mean, there's no debate there. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So,
yes.
Obviously.
It's as much a Christmas movie as It's a Wonderful Life. It's as much a Christmas 100%. Movie as It's a Wonderful Life, because It's a Wonderful Life centers around the theme of, suicide and whether or not life would change, but it just happens to be at Christmas time. And Die Hard is about a hero saving people. Just happens to be centered around Christmas time. Both Christmas movies, without a doubt. Let's see, Dumb and Dumber's on here. The Thing.
Did you guys do this with your buddies? Like, me and my buddies, when I was in like high school, or even up till now, but we would like sit and talk about our favorite movies endlessly, especially in college. And if you were really obsessed with a movie, all you did was quote lines to your friends all the time. This is like hanging out with those guys. I don't know.
Sounds kind of gay. That sounds kind of gay.
Why you always gotta get like where's gay?
No. Gay. Oh, well, we haven't told Cal yet, Ron. We've redefined gay to mean cool. So if you say, "Man, that car is gay,"
we took
car
it.
Is cool.
We took it back, Cal. We took that back.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that,
It's
that
funny you
and
talk
Rainbow.
about that. Like,
We took
yeah,
that back too.
Going back to, I guess adolescence and childhood. Me and my friends, we use that term all the time. We'd be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, don't be so gay.
That's
Why are you
gay.
being so gay?"
That
And you
is so
can't
gay.
say that anymore.
Right.
That is
oh
so
yeah,
gay.
that's gay. That I mean, and this confused podcast sounds gay. I love it. Mall rat. Okay, I see. I'm trying to remember going back to The Thing in 1982. I don't remember that movie. I mean, I remember The Thing, but I don't remember seeing it. Was it good?
I don't think I've
You
actually
don't
ever
remember
seen
it
it.
either.
I haven't seen it.
Wait,
that's one of the ones I
this
probably
is-
need to see.
Okay.
But all these
Dumb
other
and
ones.
Dumber.
So, have you guys seen Mallrats? You remember Mallrats?
A long
I
time
think
ago,
so.
yeah.
It was
So,
Kevin
what about
Smith.
Dumb and
I
Dumber? You know
think I've
Dumb
seen
and Dumber, right?
Oh yeah.
I like some of Dumb and Dumber. Some of it is just dumb.
That's the point, Brad. And you can't look at it with
Oh.
perspective in today's eyes. Think of it back then. Of course, now you watch it, it's kind of silly. But when you're, in 1994, when you were, 72, I was like, how old was I in 94? I was, I think
12.
15? I don't remember.
I was
anyway, it was hysterical. That's one of the movies I remember seeing in the theater and literally laughing with tears in my eyes. Can you remember those moments? Like the scene where
I remember having tears in my eyes in the theater, but I don't think it was from watching the movie.
Well, that's just sad, man. That's just
It
sad. The
is.
scene where Lloyd spikes Harry's coffee with laxative, and then Harry goes on the date and has uncontrollable diarrhea in the bathroom. He's giggling.
that's
It was
funny.
hysterical.
And
Hysterical.
the annoying noise. You want to hear a really annoying sound? That was fun.
Yes.
It's kind of guy humor. It is.
Just when I think
so,
you couldn't be
so they
any
sit
dumber,
around.
you go and
Yeah,
say
right.
something like this and totally redeem yourself.
So they sit around and they talk about the movies in this.
Yeah, they yeah. It's a bunch of guys talking about the movies, their favorite parts, and how it their moment of when they grew up and when they saw it, and
okay,
how it connects to other parts of their life. I guess one guy was talking about how Dumb and Dumber, it was him and his dad bonding, and it played a big part there. It was the summer of that movie, him and his dad bonded. Anyway, it's cool.
That is so gay. That is great.
Super gay.
All right, so yeah, super gay. I mean, truly, this is amazingly gay, and we are very happy that you brought it to us. Let's see here. Where it doesn't
Anytime
say
I can
where.
be gay with you guys, I'm happy to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We love having you around, and we, I mean, every time you're here, it's gay. I mean, it really is.
Well, that is a fact
we
I'm
didn't-
proud of.
And you should be, because it's very gay. So the note did not come with the location where people need to go to get this week's podcast. Where do they need to go?
Oh, go to your local retail outlet. Your typical Targets and Walmarts. Marshalls has a discount, I believe.
Is it in Marshalls now? That's cool. I mean, that's gay.
Mhm. And if you can find it at TJ Maxx, you'll be really lucky.
That's even gayer. And what's the promo code when you go into any of the aforementioned establishments?
Don't be gay.
Don't be gay. All right. Don't be gay is the promo code, and you can get it at most major retailers. And Cal, one of the gayest men I know, I really appreciate you. And I hope that you have a gay day. I really do.
That is a proud moniker I will wear. The gayest man you know.
I think you should. There he is,
ya,
ladies and
buddy.
gentlemen, direct from the Big Pear, or the Big Apple, wherever the hell he is. It's Cal and his podcast of the week, the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Yeah, I always like it. Is our other guest waiting on the line?
She's connected. Yes.
Oh, cool. So she's been able to listen to the program here for the past few, and she hasn't hung up.
Nope. She's
That's
not
a
hung
good
up.
sign.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign. when they don't hang up, even after having listened to the last few minutes of the program.
She even has a smile on her face. I'm thankful for that.
Oh my gosh, we'll get along fine. And before the end of the program here, we've got to talk to you about Dana White and his new show.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that here in the next half hour or so of the program. Don't forget the hashtag What I Learned Today if you want to be touched by us. And after all, who doesn't? Blah, blah, blah.
Love the blah, blah, blah.
I like some of Dumb and Dumber, but some of it is just
too dumb.
Yep. Right. I was just saying. I believe that quote was attributed to moi.
Yeah.
That's French. Or the Daily Mojo next.
All right, we're clear. Let's check and see if she can hear us. Jen, you got us?
Hi, Jen.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Sorry you're not in my shop. I have to take my kid to school this morning, so I can't leave.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay.
She's in a let's just say she's in a different studio than her shop. That's what she's saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What? Why?
But it looks good,
Okay.
Jen. So
well, thanks.
I love the sweatshirt. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, my merch.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I watched
All right,
your
Stan.
I watched your Steve Ducey interview this morning. That was really, really good.
Well, thank you.
Fox News, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a little notoriety.
Well, that was a little while ago, but she did get some notoriety.
Yeah, and
you,
Kirk Cameron.
You're in.
and Pastor-
Are you
Sorry.
in Silverton, Oregon? Sorry.
Yeah,
You're
I'm in Silverton. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say Kirk Cameron and Pastor Ron McCoy came up and did an interview with me, and I was in their
cool
video non-essential.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
I stand by, Jen. We'll be right back to you here in a second.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks. 30 seconds.
Kurt Russell dies at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'd be wise to visit preparewithmojo50.com. It's our trusted source
15.
for emergency food, survival tools, water and air filtration, and more. Top quality.
It's Friday.
Be prepared to protect and feed your family in the event.
All right, here we go. Stand by.
Preparewithmojo50.com.
The Daily Mojo.
John Worley over in the Facebook chat room would love to see a podcast talking about 70s car movies. That'd be like Smokey and the Bandit.
That was a great movie, Smokey and the Bandit.
It really was. Curtis says, so the Daily Mojo is gay. Yep. It is. It is gay.
We're taking that back. Taking it back.
God, Guitars, and Guns, also the Daily Mojo. What a gay show. If you know, you know.
Thank you.
And that is the truth.
Yeah.
All right. She has patiently waited on the sidelines here. She has endured minutes of the program and has chosen to stick around and be a part of it. So I think she deserves a round of applause. Jen Jacobson is the owner of Beloved Cheesecakes out in Silverton, Oregon, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Welcome to the program. We got your name from Clay Clark and the folks over at the Thrive Time show, and I was watching the interview that you did with them. Clay is a trip, isn't he? Man,
Oh, yeah.
I love Clay.
Yep. I do
You
too.
you've being a small business owner, and you were a small business owner at the time that the scamdemic took over the entire planet. What happened? What was your experience as a small business owner when everything got shut down? Tell us that story.
Well, at the time, so I opened my shop 8 months before the scamdemic. And then at the time, when the 2 weeks to slow the spread, I did take that 2 weeks off like everybody. And then afterwards, when we knew that it wasn't going to be, we knew it was going to be longer, then I started doing special orders. And at that time, I was a sole parent to 3 boys. So my dad has passed away. My mom's not been in my life, and I don't have siblings. So it's truly just me and my boys, and I'm essential to them, and they were deeming me as non-essential. And I had no other choice but to continue working. And that's what I did. And then when the mask mandate came, we didn't do the mask. I let people sit in because it's a cheesecake cafe, brick and mortar storefront. So and I'm on the main street where people can see, and I let people sit in. I'm not going to tell people no. And my little town didn't like that so much. So I was turned into OSHA 6 different times. I was not fined. And my shop is Beloved Cheesecakes. It belongs to God. I'm his beloved. And so I really believe it's his favor of why I didn't get fined. But yeah, it was brutal. I was the only business in my town that stayed open or that didn't comply.
Right. And this was, and we had businesses around this area in Dallas that did kind of the same thing, refused to close. And God bless all of you for doing that, because somebody needed to stand up to the tyranny, but you didn't do it without cost. I mean, it was, they punished you for doing it, for being, quote, non-essential, which I hated that term, because it's every bit, small businesses are essential. And the fact that, especially your business was essential to you and being able to pay your bills and have a place to live and take care of your kids, the whole 9 yards. And for the government to step in and say you're non-essential was just pissed me off beyond belief. But your business, didn't Beloved Cheesecakes get started as a crowdfunding business?
Kickstarter. Yeah, with a Kickstarter.
And the irony of people, loving the idea enough to crowdfund it, and then it's almost like they turned on you. Not necessarily the same people, but perhaps some of them turned on you because you didn't follow the narrative, and you didn't back down, and you decided instead to get you got even more involved in politics. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh, yes. Pre-COVID, I could care less about politics. I didn't pay attention. And then when all this came down, it really started with Pastor Rob McCoy, Kirk Cameron, and Pastor Rob came into my shop September of 2020, and they did an interview with me. And Pastor Rob had been involved in, I believe, a city council down in California. And so I didn't even know what city council was. And he was telling me, you need to get involved locally. And it was then when I really started researching and looking and seeing what is a job of the mayor, what is a job of city council, and then going even further of what are our constitutional rights, and I started taking constitutional classes and really getting involved, and then educating people, because there's a lot of people that are like me that have not been involved, that have not been paying attention. And I'm not afraid to ask questions, even if they're dumb or whatnot. I just ask the question. I'm not afraid. Where I think there's a lot of people that are too afraid to ask or embarrassed. And so I share anything I learn. I'm sharing it with everybody.
And that is wonderful. I mean, I'm the same way. I never cared about politics. I'm paying for that now. And I feel like I'm, having to dive in. Do you feel the same way? I mean, it's messy. Politics is messy, and you realize the people that are in it are like, ugh. Am I right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And I'm like, okay, now I understand why people don't get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's messy. And that's the, we've talked about on this program before, the fact that, politicians and politics, they put on this nice, clean veneer, but behind the scenes, it's the nastiest of sausage making. But you use the experience to learn more and to share it. And how's that changed things for you?
Immensely. I'm now a PCP, a precinct committee person with my local county Republicans, the GOP. And I'm trying to, educate myself, learn. I'm learning what the delegates are and what their jobs are, what all these positions and their jobs are. But it's gotten me to, I was endorsing candidates. I was hosting meet and greets at my place of business. I was canvassing, which was a new word for me, where you go and door knock. I did phone calling. I mean, it's just been a whole new experience. My biggest pet peeve, I know you don't like that non-essential word. I don't either, but one of my biggest pet peeve is keyboard who are just, my language, behind the computer and then don't do anything about it and don't act. And so I've been going to, I haven't yet this year, but I was going to school board meetings, standing up for the kids. I've done a lot of them fundraise. I've done a cheesecakes to fundraisers. Yeah.
You're breaking up just a little bit. But so basically you got involved, you taught yourself, you learned from others what government was about. I'm curious, what made you, if you weren't involved in politics before, did you identify as a Democrat or a Republican? And if not, what made you decide to, go after leadership roles in the Republican Party?
No, I didn't identify in any party. I was non-affiliated, and I think, I did. To Portland State, I graduated in 2018.
Hey, Ron, and Jen, let me stop you there. Ron, can we get her to reconnect, because I want to hear every word she's saying, and we're not getting all of that. Can we do that, Ron?
Yeah, we can. Jen,
Jen,
can you reconnect? Try reconnecting with us, Jen.
Yeah, reconnect. Just go ahead and because I want to hear every word she's saying. I don't want to rush her along, because I think it's a valuable lesson.
I'm not sure that's going to fix things.
It's got to try something, right?
Yeah.
But she owns Beloved Cheesecakes up in Silverton, Oregon. She was
Jen, if you can hear us, Jen, reconnect, would you please?
She was told she was not essential. Was told, she was given the marching orders, like so many small businesses were, not to let people in. The mask mandate, and she said basically, up yours, I'm not doing it. And it drove her to learn about what her rights were as a citizen, what rights she had with her business, which is what more people need to do. And hopefully a lot of people did that. That's what's actually going to, make a change happen. And as she said, a lot of people, online keyboard warriors just bitching about the situation, not doing much about it. I know for our part here, we'd much rather be talking about something else, fun stuff, but it's important to focus on the politics of our government, to learn what we do and don't have the right and to do. Jen, you're back. I want to see if that, because I didn't want people to miss any words you were saying. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep. Yeah, it was cutting out so much that I didn't want people to miss a thing that you said. Bottom line, I think we let's pick up where you use the time, or you use the motivation to learn more about what your rights were. You got involved, and then you were telling us about why you decided to get involved with the Republican side of politics as opposed to the Democrat side.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was saying that I went to Portland State in 2016 to 18, and that was when Trump was elected, and I was not into politics, and the whole college campus was crying when Trump was elected, and it was really foreign to me. I grew up, my dad was a meth addict, and so I'm the first generation in my line to go to college, and so I'm just excited I'm at a university. And then here they're all crying, and I thought, we're here to, why are we crying over this? What's the big deal? And so that was a really honor for me. And then in a policy class, we had to take it. We didn't have to, but the professor said you could take a quiz to see where you fall politically. And I was really excited. Right. I was like, oh, I don't even know where I fall. And I fell right center, but leaned a little bit conservative. And so I was like, what? I lean conservative? Because, I'm up there at a leftist college, and everyone around me is like, we didn't even take it. We're left. Well, I do have conservative values, and I ended up going with the Republican Party, of course, and they value life. And unfortunately, the other side doesn't value life. I don't know, but that's how I ended up getting involved.
Well, no, and I asked you that question because I'm the same way. I always considered myself a social moderate and a fiscal conservative, and neither party really, fit me. But it seems that the Republicans, and I've always been a registered Republican since I was 18, but I never really, understood the politics of it. But I was curious as to what drew you to the conservative side. And I think a lot of people wonder, why is it, how did I get here, and why was it that I decided to go this route? But your story is incredible. Beloved Cheesecakes, how is the business doing now? What are we, 2 years out, 3 years out? I'm losing track of the years we've had since everything happened.
Yes. Almost 3 years. March will be 3 years. Surprisingly, I am hanging in there. I'm doing well. I'm hoping to take my business to the next level this year. My cheesecakes are in quite a few restaurants now, and then I'll be at the Reawaken tour this next week. I got asked to speak in Nashville, so I'll be there.
Cool.
And then we're rolling out a product that we're going to debut there, so hopefully that will be our big break this year. Clay Clark is my business coach, so that's been really amazing working with him. I've learned a lot, and so I mean, my town is too small. We're too big for our town. I don't know. I'm looking for another space with more foot traffic, but we'll see. I definitely have dreams of franchise.
All right, so let's talk business now. What's the best cheesecake that you make? Because they all look
our signature
fabulous.
One is salted caramel, and that one I've donated to a lot of fundraisers, and it's gone from $600 to $850 to just recently $906 at local auctions. So that's really awesome.
Wow. Is this like a secret family recipe? Where'd you learn how to make cheesecake?
Self-taught. I
Really?
did not learn. There was no secret family recipe, just self-taught. I've always loved baking. I might be a little bit of a perfectionist, and baking, you have to be nice. So I think I made my very first cheesecake in the year 2000. It exploded and cracked everywhere, but I wanted to conquer it, and so I just would make one here or there, and then I added into it. I separated. I came out of a domestic violence situation 8.5 years ago, and so a year later, I have a program for low income with my boys, and I got a flat of blackberries, and I thought, what am I going to do with these blackberries? And I was like, I'll make a blackberry cheesecake and give it to my kids' school staff, and that's what started the whole thing, because they were like, who made this cheesecake? And I did. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is the best cheesecake in the world. And I was like, really? And then from there, I was like, well, I'll do that for Christmas. And I gave cheesecakes as Christmas gifts, and people were so shocked by it and amazed. And then I posted on my personal Facebook the day after Christmas, and I had 3 people reach out to me and ask me if I would make one for them for New Year's, and they would pay me. I was like, you're going to pay me? And
wow.
Yeah, it's just spread word of mouth. And everyone all through college kept telling me, Jen, you need to open up a shop. And I was like, never. I will never be self-employed. My ex was self-employed. I know the hard work of it. But God had different plans, I guess.
Isn't it funny how that happens, right? Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. The flavors look amazing. People can sign up at belovedcheesecakes.com. And when it says get a free slice of cheesecake on your birthday, do they have to be local, or do you send one? What happens?
If you come in on your birthday, you get a free slice. Yes. But yeah,
I can't come in on my birthday.
I know. We're going to figure that out.
Okay, good. That's the answer I was hoping for right there. I am.
Yep.
I am not ashamed to say.
Figure out to ship something on days.
Do you ship the cheesecakes to other states?
Yes. Yep. We have a lot.
How does that work? We're in Texas.
Oh, in Texas. Okay. Yep. I just shipped one this week to Texas. We
so
ship
was it like come in the dry ice? How does that work?
Dry ice. It works great. We freeze them, deep freeze them, and then we package them. We shrink wrap them, package them in dry ice, and ship them off. I mean, they're not fully decorated as you see on the pictures, but we provide the toppings and tell you how to decorate it.
Kind of a do-it-yourself cheesecake thing.
Yeah. We know it will taste good.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say it all gets mixed together in the end anyway. Jen Jacobson, again, the owner of Beloved Cheesecakes. I love your story because it really does. It shows what one person can do to actually make a difference, to change, to not just sit around and complain, but to actually get up and do something about it. And it wasn't easy, was it? I mean, getting out there and doing everything you did. It was tough.
Oh, yeah, it was tough and lonely. I mean, because I felt like I was the only one. And I'm really grateful. I found a customer came in January of 2021, and she told me about a business group that was starting the next day. And I said, please sign me up. It was like people. And I went, and there was about 30 people. And I cried the whole time being around the like-mindedness. And now it's called Freedom Business Fellowship, and I'm on the board of it. And now we have over 200 members.
Good for you.
It's
good
awesome.
For you.
Yeah.
That really is. Your story is so cool. And again, you'll be at the at Clay Clark's show. Is it this weekend you said in Nashville?
Yeah, that's coming up, the 20th and 21st. Yep.
All right, cool. So let's see, that's the next weekend. All right, yeah.
Yeah, next weekend. Yeah, sorry. We're just trying to prep and get everything together. So
I understand.
Together.
Jen Jacobson, owner of Beloved Cheesecakes, and the website again is belovedcheesecakes.com.
Yep,
right?
Yep.
Up in Silverton, Oregon. God bless you, and thank you for sharing your story with us, and maybe it will be the inspiration for somebody else out there. I really admire what you've done. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
You bet. A woman who can cook cheesecake.
I love that. I might just have to place an order before I get off the air.
And that's very gay. That's very gay.
Yeah,
it is.
I guess
it's very cool. Yeah. And they look fabulous. And did you notice how I got her to say that she'd send me a piece?
I saw that. Just tell her it's your birthday.
Well, my birthday is technically coming. I'm not going to cheat her. I'm going to tell her when my birthday is, and it's in March.
That's how you get it.
And then I'm just want a little piece of that
cheesecake. A lot of dudes
cheesecake.
think they're going to get a piece on their birthday too, but a lot of dudes don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know, at our age, we're just looking forward to the cheesecake.
True.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. I think she has a fabulous story, and again, she did something. That's the important thing.
See, when somebody comes from a background like hers, God bless her, with the abusive background, and her dad was a meth addict, like she said. When you come from that and you make something of yourself, it's a fantastic story. It's a legacy for your children. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Well, and it's fascinating because she was apolitical.
Yeah.
If any, and I've wondered how I got to where I am.
Dude, I was apolitical in 2010. I didn't know anything about politics then. I didn't do anything in politics. It wasn't until 2014 that I finally decided which side of the fence I fell on.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but
it's crazy, but it makes you wonder how looking back now, I grew up in a family of probably liberals, Democrat liberals. I think. I don't even know because they never talked about it.
I grew up in a family of Republicans, but my extended family, they were all Democrats, dude. But it was a different kind of Democrat. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. And again, out here on the great unwashed, all of us are not, although there are a lot of asshats on both sides of the fence. I will say that. But, the great unwashed out here, it's not the same as the establishment in Washington. You can have differing views out here amongst us, and we're good as long as we can talk about them.
Yeah.
It's the whole shut your mouth and here's what you're going to do. And in Jen's case, it was like here in Texas where they kept the bars closed at the end.
Didn't make
Boy,
sense
that
at all.
pissed me off.
Didn't make sense at all.
Pissed me off.
That
because
bar
those
could be
people
connected.
had to make a damn living.
Yep, connected to a restaurant where people are sitting, eating, but the bar couldn't be open. Yep.
As the one, Abbott pissed me off on that, and I've never talked to him about it. Maybe
I agree that he
call
pissed
and
you
have
off, but was he not doing the same thing that every state governor was doing?
But I don't
guessing
want
at
him
what
to
they
do the
needed to do?
same thing. Yeah, but you know what? I don't buy into that because we all knew that it was a stupid idea to keep some businesses open and others not. It made no sense. None. It made no sense that you go to Kroger, but you couldn't go to a restaurant. It makes no sense or made no sense that you had to put on a freaking mask to walk to a damn table 2 feet away and then take it off.
Yep.
It was stupid. All this shit was stupid. He got me all worked up. Damn it. I'm going to need to go put on my MyPillow slippers. I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to go wrap myself in my MyPillow slippers. Or perhaps I'll wrap myself in a towel. Or perhaps I'll come over to your room and wrap myself in your robe.
Oh, you can't wear my robe. I'll be wearing my robe. Maybe you can wear Misty's.
That's kind of gay. I'm into that. That'll work. That'll work. Go to mypillow.com if you haven't done so. Another business that is, he was once a small business, and much like, Jen's story. I don't know that she was an addict, but her dad was a meth addict.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell overcame that, which is damned amazing when you think about it. The ability, the strength in a human to be able to overcome something like meth. Because I hear it's like the most fabulousest high out there, like heroin. And to be able to put that down, walk away, and start something big that turns into something like MyPillow. And going strong and putting his money into essentially the country. I do like Mike Lindell. So head to mypillow.com if you are in need of pillows, slippers, any of the stuff you see on his site, and use the promo code MOJO50 and save a substantial amount of cash that you can then send to us. Right?
Yeah.
See how I did that?
Yeah.
See how I did that. I can't believe we're out of time.
What do you mean it's let's go?
I couldn't tell if you were searching there.
You will never know, will you? Because I'm a professional. And that, my friends, is the end of 2 hours of unfocused entertainment we like to call the Daily Mojo. Audio deliciousness, if you will. And damn it, we didn't get to Dana White.
Or Lisa Presley.
Or Lisa Marie. Yeah, we'll do that. God, things just happen so damn fast. Anyway, it is Friday the 13th. Go out and buy your lottery ticket because it's like $1.35 billion. And in the meantime, we'll see if anybody learned anything. Pickled Squirrel. To the most fabulous boys in radio. Have a great weekend.
You too.
F you as well. F you as well. James, the unvaccinated Jack. Oh. My ex-wife liked her mask. She got her pretty flowery ones and always cringed when I refused to put one on while shopping. And it's weird how many homes were divided like that, too. That's the other thing. Yeah. It sucked, but not in a good way. Rebel Patriot, have a great weekend, guys. See you Monday. That's right, because Friday does mean it's 2 days until Monday. Oblivion Flickering learned the Taliban's new car is a 1979 Ford Pinto. with extra firepower. Over in the Rumble chat room, Mrs. Urgent Fury RSS, I don't know. I'd say my husband spends way more than me. So does mine. So does mine. And RSS commentary, it makes sense that married couples make more than unmarried couples because the most fit reproduce. So you would expect a father to make 125% more money because your dad deserved and needed it. I have absolutely no idea what in the hell they're talking about. But it sounded like fascinating, didn't it? And Tracy, I've always known I was a Republican. My parents were very conservative. I am conservative, and my 15-year-old twins are very conservative. Such good kids. And again, it's just been a weird journey for me because my family not political, really, that I remember ever growing up. My sister, a big Obama supporter, which I never understood. And, well, she hates me anyway. But how did we get here? How are we sitting in this place right now talking about what we're talking about? Because it's America, damn it. And we want it to
all values.
Stay free.
Yeah.
It is. It is. We want this country to live up to the greatness that it has the possibility to do. We're just fighting that good fight each and every day. And Ron, you and I are going to wrestle.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Sounds pretty gay to me. As for the rest of you, we the people must hang together, my friends. Otherwise, we shall surely hang separately. Sic semper tyrannis, resist stupid. And good night, Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are, have a good weekend, everybody.
Yep.
Love ya.
Love you too.